All right, guys. So in free agency, since we've been on yesterday, and then at the end we'll get to the moves that happened the last couple of days because we want to get G's take on it. But this morning, I thought was one of the most important moves the Browns had to still make, and that was Corey Bojorquez. They re-signed him to a 2-year deal. Have we seen any money on that yet?
No. The last player the Browns have signed that we've seen the money for is Naheem Hines. So the Shelby Harris deal, the other offensive tackle whose name is
Hakeem Adeniji.
And Bojorquez, we haven't seen. And Michael Dunn. Those four don't have money yet.
But this, to me, was an important move because Bojorquez has been a good punter, and I thought last year was his best season. And now you're three special teams guys, exactly the same. You're running it back. I like this.
Yeah, last year we talked about Bojorquez in our ideal free agency plan. I know, Bo, you didn't include the re-signings in yours.
But I would have had him.
You would have. Yes. Jason and I both had him in ours. Yeah. He was top 10 last season in average yards per punt, punts down inside the 20, longest punt. His one issue heading into last season was we know he has a cannon for a leg.
Yeah.
Can he cough in corner teams? Can he place it with enough depth and touch inside the 20-yard line? Well,
he improved.
I'm not an expert on punting, but you finish top 10 in the league when you have the 5th most punts. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
So he took the step forward in that category. And outside of having a strong leg, the ability to directional punt, we learned holding wasn't his issue. So what's the complaint? I'm not sure if you could upgrade that position.
Yeah.
If he's not a top 5-6 guy, I don't look at all the punters in the league, I apologize. But based on what my eyes tell me, he's one of the better punters in football. To bring him back on a 2-year deal, I'm all for it.
Loved it. Listen, see here.
He's a weapon, by the way. Special teams a weapon.
No doubt.
You know, they went from Operation Stockpile and they tweaked it. Said no longer we're doing Operation Stockpile. We can look around and see around the league. We're gonna go with Operation Replenish. We're gonna replenish this situation. Just refresh it a little bit. Like sometimes you don't need a bunch of extra. You just let me throw a coat of paint on this. Let me switch out an accent chair, and all of a sudden I got a brand new living space. Look at the refresh rate on that. Yeah. They bring back Zadarius Smith, Mo Hurst. They got better, I believe, with Jordan Hicks. They got better, I believe, as backup with Winston. Hines is a third down back. And returner, Michael Dunn. Yeah. And Dingy, this guy, James Hudson. All right, then, dog, I'll catch you next year.
Now, he's not that good, but he did start a couple of games for a Bengals team that was in the playoffs.
We've seen enough of Hudson.
Yeah.
We've seen enough. And you got Shelby Harris back in. So now, look, you brought back all those pieces and parts, and now you don't have to fill those with rookies.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't you had Jordan Elliott, who they didn't sign. He's gone. Yeah. But they want to see what Siaki is, right?
And Ike is really, if you think about it, so now up front, with the addition of Shelby Harris now coming back because he signed last night, right?
Yep.
So you've brought back Zadarius Hurst and Shelby Harris, which were your 3 good veterans. You kept Ogbo, obviously, because you signed him to a multiple-year deal. You certainly got Myles Garrett, and then you got Dalvin Tomlinson. Well, your top 6 is really good. Now your 7th guy is Alex Wright, who showed some progress at the end of last year. And Ika's number 8. I don't know that the Browns have anything left to do, really. I mean, you'll draft somebody, an in-the-mix guy, because they're not cutting Ika. He was a third-round pick last year.
And a guy like Harris, I was digging through the numbers, and Jake Burns put these out, and this blew my mind. So we know Christian Wilkins is a phenomenal player, right? Maybe one of the best pass-rushing defensive tackles in all of football. Mm-hmm. When you look at the pressure rate, now Wilkins got $85 million guaranteed. We haven't seen the money on Harris. What's going to be $3-4 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Let me read you their pressure rates the last 3 years. Now,
it's not an apples to apples.
I understand
one
guy plays 85% of the snaps, one guy
fair.
plays 50%. But just giving you the context of what you're getting in Shelby Harris as a rotational defensive tackle, who only plays about 55% of the snaps. Yeah. But just giving you context, in 2023, Christian Wilkins had a 10% pressure rate from the interior. Harris, 8.7. Last year, Wilkins, 5.2% pressure rate. Harris, 8.3. 2021, Wilkins, 8.1. Harris, 9%. He is by no means a better pass rusher than Christian Wilkins.
Right.
Not a better player.
Bang for your buck.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a.
And Mo Hurst is one of the better.
And Hurst is in there. Yeah, so you're getting a really good value on those 2 guys.
I was looking this morning when I was recording my podcast. I brought up the Browns depth chart. And I was like, I couldn't remember a time. And it's not really all that much different from last year, except at wide receiver, which we'll get to in a little bit because G hasn't had a chance to jump in on that yet. But if you look at their depth chart,
They don't have any glaring holes.
they are deeper in a lot of positions than I ever can recall them being. Because you really don't have you have 7 legitimate players at the D line. I'm going to leave Eke out. I don't know if he can play or not.
Right.
Alex Wright's their 7th player.
Yeah.
If he's my 7th D lineman,
you're good.
I'm good.
You're good.
Right? In the secondary, I got 4 guys that are at least, Ronnie Hickman and DeAnthony Bell are my 3rd and 4th safeties. That's fine. I don't need to do anything.
They got 4 corners.
Cam Mitchell's your 4th corner. You feel
Cam
really
Mitchell's
good.
my 4th corner. I'm good there. Offensive line, I don't love all their depth pieces, but they got guys who have played in the league at depth. We're good, right? Now, yes, they need to add to depth at linebacker. They only have
2.
3 linebackers on the roster.
2 you could fully count on.
2 you can count on, and 3, including Tony Fields, that have even been drafted.
Right.
Every other linebacker on this team is an undrafted free agent, and most of them haven't done anything. So that's a position they do need to address, at least from a depth perspective, because if there's any injuries, they could be in trouble there.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you got really good depth at almost every spot.
Do you believe? I hope they ain't trying to do this.
Yeah.
Do you think, because they ain't cut him yet, do you think Phillips is a guy that they're like, we're going to sneak him on the roster, he might be somebody?
Jacob Phillips, isn't he a free agent?
I think he's a free agent.
Jacob Phillips
I think he's
a
a
free
free
agent?
I didn't see
Yeah.
him. I don't remember seeing him on the depth chart, so I think he's gone.
I'm 96% sure he's a free agent.
We'll double check. If you guys could double check.
Yeah, double check when
I think
Jacob
he's
They
Phillips
got
contract.
I can't imagine.
Tony Fields, and they got Diabate.
The Abate Fields, and then some other undrafted
yeah.
guys
Yeah.
over the last couple of years.
Does Kanasic still technically under
I
contract?
think he's a free agent too.
Agent.
So listen, I think they may be done adding veterans.
So do you
at this
think?
point.
Let me ask you this:
It could be.
So they re-sign Harris and
Yes.
Hurst.
Right.
You think that takes them completely out of the picture for a DJ Reader or?
Yes.
anyone
100%.
else?
There's no way they're
making
spending
sure.
that money. There's a lot of teams in it. I was texting James Rapine yesterday. I was like, are the Bengals going to get Reader back, or what the hell's going on here? They need him. Their defensive tackle is not very good. And he's like, I don't know. The Lions are really interested. A couple of teams. The Browns are not spending. He's going to go for a good amount of money. The Browns are not going to spend that money in that position now.
You're starting to see it now. You're starting to see the trickle down of the influx of money, because now you talk about positions that never really get money.
Yeah.
Running backs got paid.
Yep.
D tackles are getting paid now.
Offensive guards.
Now
All
remember,
guards get paid.
The running backs got paid more than they've been, but still
Still
not a
not-
ton.
Still right, but
Yeah,
I mean,
like
you got
Saquon got Darnell Mooney money.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But I thought, when they gave him the little $10 million that they
It was
gave him
more than I
before,
thought.
I
It was
said,
more.
"Oh, they
the
Saquon
running
got a
back
raise
class
from a
was really
franchise
good.
tag.
Yeah.
The running back class in free agency this year was really good, and the money was up a little bit. But especially seeing all those running backs going off the board in the first
day.
48 hours was really shocking. Elliott.
Elliott went to San Francisco. That's huge.
No.
Phillips.
Phillips, he's gone. He is
Phillips
free.
gone, yeah,
well, I don't know
okay.
that he's gone, but he's a free agent.
free agent.
So, yeah, I'll be surprised at this point. I can't think of a position where the Browns would sign another veteran for any more than basically the minimum at this point. Like a bot.
Could you see them? And I don't think the answer is yes. But
Yeah.
they signed Naheem Hines,
Yeah.
who's a third down receiving back returner.
And a good special teams guy.
And more
Return
of
guy.
a
Yeah.
return guy than
He's
a runner.
an excellent
Yeah, really, really good
pass
returner.
catcher.
He has more receiving yards than rushing yards in his
Right.
career. If I had to pick a position where I think they could still sign a veteran guy, I do think it's running back in a more traditional downhill runner role, but I don't think it's likely.
But who are they cutting?
Here-
They're not going to cut Jerome Ford.
I
You got
think-
Nick Chubb.
Unless you just view Hines as a return gadget guy. and
I
not as a
I
running
think
back.
what
think
they
so.
told us was they like Jerome Ford.
and hopefully they feel like
Nick
Chubb's
Chubb
going to be all right.
will be
Naheem
okay.
Hines, I know he didn't play last year. Before that, he was, I would say,
I like
an elite pass catching
Yeah,
back.
especially for the Colts.
PFS not everything.
Yeah.
Since he entered the league in 2018,
Yeah.
he's the 5th highest graded receiving
Yeah,
back
I mean,
in
this
football.
guy he's got a perfect role on this team that they don't have filled.
They didn't have, yeah.
A third down back and a return guy. He does both those things well. That's fine.
And
I mean,
punt and kicks, by the way.
and by the way, at this point, what running back would they add anyway?
You just asked a question.
Yeah.
That's the one I think would make most sense.
Who's the best running back left out there? Alexander Madison? Zeke Elliott?
No, with Aaron Jones.
No, he
No,
signed
he
with
signed with the
Minnesota.
Vikings.
Oh, dang.
See, and I would have loved Aaron Jones.
I would have loved Aaron
I
Jones.
said Aaron Jones when he first got cut. Aaron Jones is on Aaron, like all those running backs change teams. He's on Minnesota. Joe Mixon got traded to Houston. Henry signed with the Ravens yesterday. I think Alexander Madison's probably the best running back left, and
he's not any better than Jerome Ford. Yeah.
So here's the only thing I could see, and this may be more a hope of mine than a realistic thing, and I brought it up yesterday, is that now I said the Browns move on from Elijah Moore, trade him, and then sign a guy like Tyler Boyd, who I think would be a perfect fit. Now I think they feel like kind of committed to Moore, and I'm fine with him. We've talked about this.
Has Calvin Ridley? He's gone too.
Calvin Ridley is not gone,
so there's a little tidbit with Ridley though.
Yeah.
So if he signs,
what a stupid thing by Atlanta to let this happen.
So if he signs before 12 o'clock today,
4 o'clock today,
4 o'clock today,
yeah,
Jacksonville gives Atlanta a second-round pick. If he signs after 4 o'clock today, it's a third-round pick. So I think the reason he hasn't signed
the sense is that he's going to re-sign with Jacksonville.
At 4:01, he'll be a Jacksonville Jaguar.
Although New England supposedly has made him a big offer.
Why would they do?
No idea.
Why
J.K.
Atlanta
Dobbins,
agreed to that?
best running back on the market, by the way. Dobbins.
Would you take a flyer on Dobbins?
Yesterday,
you mentioned it
I
yesterday.
said yes, but once they signed Hines, I was like, listen, the point is, Dobbins would be a guy. What are you paying him? Minimum salary. I mean, he can't demand that.
$2 million. Yeah.
Super minimum.
I don't think it's a bad job to have him in camp. And if you have too many backs, it's a good problem to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy has never been able to stay healthy. But yeah, I mean, if you can sign him for, $1 million,
1 year, $2 million.
I don't even know if he's getting two.
I take him for that. But just to bring him in, just to have a little
I think it's possible. Yeah. If I were going to make a surprise, I would say it would be maybe they move on from Moore or even keep Moore. I don't even know. Like, Moore complained when he was the third receiver with the Jets. Is he going to do the same thing here?
Oh, he better be cool.
In a contract year.
He better get some money, bro. Like, and here's the crazy thing about it. I still think I was just looking around. This is the deepest receiver draft I've seen ever.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I still think they draft a guy. That's
I still think they might draft a receiver.
Especially because real quick, Bull, sorry to cut you off, but Cooper's a free agent after this year. Judy's a free agent after this year.
Yeah.
Moore's a free agent after this year. After this year, on paper, if they don't before the draft, the only guys you have under contract in the wide receiver room, Tillman and Bell.
That's it.
Oh no,
you kind of have to draft a replenish.
They drafted a receiver.
The only thing that would surprise me the good thing is the Browns are in a position where they can just take the best player available.
Yes.
Which is what they should do. Yeah. If that's a wide receiver, great. But if you think there's a guy at linebacker or a defensive line that's much better, you take him. And some teams are not in that position, so it's good that the Browns are. The only thing that would shock me in the second round is if the Browns took a defensive back or a quarterback. I think they could take any other position.
Do you think they draft at 54 or do you think they move in and out? Because I wouldn't be shocked to see him move down.
I don't know.
Depending on who's
he likes to move.
If there's a guy that, like, listen, I'm infatuated with Xavier Legette. I'm like, listen.
South Carolina.
Where's he supposed to go?
Second round.
Right
in the range.
Right around that range.
But there's a lot. But there's a bunch of receivers that's supposed to go second round. Like, it's just.
It kind of depends on what preference you want to receive. There's like Troy Franklin.
I like
pure
him too.
Speed guy. Legette's more physical, but still is a good get off.
I like him.
There's the Pearsalls from Florida. I mean, there's a bunch of other guys that could fall depending.
Is there
on
a slot guy? Is any of these guys slot guys?
McConkey, who will probably be gone by 54, the kid out of Georgia, slot guy. Pearsall out of Florida. Played a lot of slot at Florida. He's a little bigger, but has the potential. He was who Dane Brugler mocked to the Browns in his latest mock draft.
Yeah.
But he's a little older.
I thought you didn't like him. Was it you that didn't like him?
I like him in the second round.
Oh, okay.
We'll take him in the second. Because you got to think, if you got, the two dudes from LSU,
Brian Thomas
for me, I thought, I'm like, okay, we may sneak him.
He'd be a great fit.
Brian Thomas ran a 4.3.
Yeah, he gone.
He's out of here.
Yeah, okay. He's a big body receiver.
Keon Coleman.
I seen a couple of places that say he might slip. If he falls to 54,
Keon Coleman.
That's an intriguing prospect for the
Keon Coleman, former basketball player, 6'4". He didn't run too fast at the combine. He only ran, I believe, in the low 4.6s, high 4.5s, because that's why he may slide. Yeah. But his catch radius, his go up and get it is crazy.
He was one of the guys who, like, midway through college football, like top 10 pick potential.
Right.
And now he's looking at like a mid round because the testing did not come out well. But I kind of trust the guys who have the tape and some of the highlight plays he's made, like that one-handed catch he made against Clemson. Do you know what I'm talking about?
He's playing
across his body behind him.
He made a couple
Incredible,
plays
yeah.
against LSU. Like
Incredible.
he played it. Yeah. So I'll take. Look, I'm actually just excited to be truthful. I'm gonna be one of them dudes that sit there and watch the first round of the draft and be like, ooh,
Let's see who's left.
let's see who's
right.
the best of the rest.
One last thing, Bull, before we move on here.
Yeah.
As far as the offensive tackle they signed, the guy from Cincinnati.
Hakeem Adeniji. Well, he was in Minnesota last
Minnesota.
year. He had been at the
I'll be honest, I never heard of the guy in my life before. I had to
Yeah.
Google him. His PFF grades weren't good. I couldn't tell you
No,
a
he's
single
not
thing
good.
about him.
He's not very good, but he's better than Hudson.
Is that the bottom
I don't
line?
he didn't play enough that I distinctly remember him. I remember thinking, yeah, we got to get better than him. But the fact that he was on the roster of a team that went to the Super Bowl, and he was high enough on the roster that he got a little bit of playing time. As a fourth tackle, he's fine. He's better than I think he's better than James Hudson.
Did I hear that Deontay Johnson got cut?
He
He got
traded.
traded.
Oh, he got traded.
We're gonna get to that in a minute.